I'm Arnold Willand. I'm a lecturer at Fontes ICT. As you can see, for many years, for 30 years, I studied economy. I'm an economist, but I specialized in business information systems and in supply chain management. I teach at these schools all subjects that have to do with information system development, supply chain management, economics, marketing, finance. So I have a lot of subjects that I lecture. In ICT and business, we'll study several subjects. One of the subjects that we study is the subject of marketing, because every engineer who makes a product must be able to sell it internally to his boss or externally to his customers. Second, what we do in the subject is we are going to look at accounting, financial accounting, because if you want to start a business, then you need to know accounting, but you also need to know finance and accounting if you want to communicate with the customers you will have, for instance, if you develop a software application program. Managerial accounting is necessary in order to calculate the cost of a project, to find out whether your project was effective or less effective. And most of you are studying for software engineers, and that means if you are studying for a software engineer, then you probably will not stay a software engineer. You probably in the future will go on and become a project leader. And in order to be a project leader, you must know something on strategies and how to manage people. That also is part of a subject in business. In business, you also have the big subject for us is supply chain management. That is the subject where you try to find out how you can get from a primary supplier to the end consumer, how a product or a service is delivered. That means in that subject you will learn, for instance, in the automotive industry, how we get from a truck driver who wants to buy a truck until how it's produced and how the components are made, etc. On that subject we also visit a company. We visit usually the DAF company in order to find out in practice what the subject is about. In supply chain management you learn what the planning is of the production process, but also stock control, how many stock you should have, how long the stock you should have, and how you should allocate your resources to the workers, how you should do that, are all parts of supply chain management. I think, if I don't forget it, these are the most important items that we do in our course in business. If you study ICT and business, there are a lot of opportunities for you in this area, because business is a very broad area. You can work for companies, but you also can work for banks, you also can work for the government, public organizations, etc. That means on all these domains there are several types of systems that they use. So it could be that you become an SAP consultant for an ERP system. It could be that you are working on a bank and working on the bank on information management. You could work in security. That means we have a lot of different professions in our area. It could be that you become a senior information system analyst. Almost an unlimited amount of opportunities you can study if you have done ICT and business. It can be more in the neighborhood of accounting, it can be more in the neighborhood of marketing, it can be more technical for technical organizations, more You could say, oh, I like more the management aspects of business, then you're doing management. So the opportunity are numerous. If you look at our domain and you look at employment, then it's very simple. I work here for 32 years in this company. I've never had a problem with students that couldn't find a job. Everybody wants ICT and business students. Companies often ask us before students already have graduated, do you want to come and work with us? And then I don't mean only the Dutch companies, but also foreign companies will ask you that. That means all the main players, for instance in the consultancy market, like Capgemini, like Oracle, like Accenture, everybody wants to have our students. That means employment is not a problem. The only problem you can have is that sometimes you have to learn a language. For instance, if you want to work in Holland, then a lot of jobs, most people in Holland speak English, but on the shop floor, a lot of people don't speak English. And if your work is dependent on the shop floor, then you probably have to learn Dutch. But on average, you can say, I've done a lot of graduation projects with students, and almost every student that I have mentored stayed at the company where they were working where they did their graduation at that moment. So employment is not a problem, it's a luxury. You probably have a choice on every finger of your hand, a job.
Hi, my name is Aksar Ismail. I'm a fourth-year student here at Fontes University of Applied Sciences Eindhoven, and I study ICT Business. I was born in Bulgaria, raised there, but now my parents live in Turkey, so you can say that I'm half Bulgarian, half Turkish. Well, basically, why I choose ICT Business instead of the other options is that because I think personally I'm more close to the business side. I really like programming. I have a little bit background with it, but I couldn't consider myself as a hardcore programmer, and I cannot imagine myself for the rest of my life coding stuff and leading project groups. So I was actually quite interested in the business side, where it actually gets together the IT and the business and show the benefits of IT, and to be able to transfer the IT knowledge to our managers, the future managers. So basically what I'm trying to do, what I think I'm going to get as a student here, is to be the middleman between the managers and the people that are actually writing or coding stuff. So I can translate the business requirements to the programmers, and vice versa. I can actually explain what IT is capable to do to the business side. So that was the reason why I chose ICT Business. Well, the main difference is, like I mentioned before, we are studying 1 year full in IBMS, which is in the same campus here. It's International Business Management Studies, and we have every subject that you can imagine regarding business, starting from law to international exports, marketing, management, finance. So I think that adds a little bit in depth in our studies, while we are not only focusing on C and C++ and other coding. We also learn the business aspect, and I want to believe, no offense to my other fellow students, but I want to believe that we are more prepared to be in the management positions. Of course, time will only tell. To be honest, yeah, I would choose the same studies because it actually gave me quite experience seeing both sides of the world, in a business side and in an IT side. It's helped me a lot, especially just an example to give you. I started my own company while I was student here, and I still have it. I still continue with my job. I have a web design company where I can actually apply both of the sides of my studies. I am doing the marketing stuff, I'm trying to reach out to customers, and I'm trying to manage my schedule to finish the projects on time, And on the other side, we had HTML design classes here also in ICT, and I'm applying those also. So I think that it was a great choice for me, and actually using the knowledge that you gain here in real life during your studies, which is a huge benefit for me. So yeah, I would choose the same. Well, finding an internship was not that hard, to be honest. It's mainly because of the region that we are here, Eindhoven. We have a lot of IT related companies here, starting from Philips, ASML, NXP, DAF, huge companies. I did my internship at DAF, which is a truck manufacturing company here based in Eindhoven with around 7,000 people working. It's one of the oldest and one of the biggest. And my assignment was regarding to reporting, management reporting. Basically, it was they're using SAP as the enterprise resource system. So we're trying to get the data out of the system and present it to the managers. And it was a really hard challenge for me because it is the first time you actually experience the real life challenges, and the assignment itself was quite challenging. But I had a great experience there. At the end, we managed to start at least the implementation, and it's still going on. And being a part of a real life project and knowing that it's going to be implemented, it's not just an assignment, it's not just to get grades or you're not delivering coffees and stuff like that. Being something that's going to be implemented makes you very proud. And knowing that it still on works, and after I left there, I feel quite happy about the experience. Well, I'm a little bit undecided yet. I'm not sure if I want to actually take more time with my company after I graduate, but it's also a risk to go into market with little to no experience and start your own company. But based on my studies, I think I'm doing my minor now, my second minor actually. Thanks to the exam board, you're able to do that in exceptional courses. I'm doing my second minor, which is SAP. And as you probably know, it's one of the biggest software companies in the world, and most of the companies, especially huge companies, is using the system. So there is also a huge opportunity to go in this area, to be an SAP consultant, maybe in the future, or maybe start my own firm. Well, the future I'm not sure about yet, but I'm sure we'll find something on the way.